What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we are the Washbros. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be the kickoff to our third season. So we're going to be doing the 2026 season, and it's going to be a great season. We got some stuff in the works that we've improved on over last year, and hope to really add value to the community and create more of a community with you guys to help out more than just listening and tuning into the Washbros. So what we'll do on this episode, we'll talk about kind of how we operate, how a top operator operates in the winter season, and I'll let Clay kick this one off.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've been doing this for 3 years. So it's episode one of season three. It's amazing how much content we've pushed out for everybody, how much support we get from the community all across the world. And all the messages I get with all the questions, I'm happy to help anytime I get a chance. Or um, anyway, appreciate you guys watching, tuning in today. How top operators think during the slow season. So I've said this many times over many different episodes. When it's slow, you need to be preparing yourself for the spring. And when it's spring, you need to be preparing yourself for the winter. So during the winter, what we're doing right now is like January, we're kicking the year off right. We're getting excited about the year. We know spring's coming around the corner. It sneaks up on you really quick. So you could sit at home and be depressed. You could think about sit at home on social media and look at everybody posting all their how busy they are during January or anyway, what are you doing for your business? What are you doing for yourself? You don't want to be thinking about everybody else. You don't want to be looking at everybody else. You don't want to be sitting at home depressed. You want to stay in the right mentality and stay busy, whether it's sitting at home, in your office, or wherever your office is. Get in your office, get active, make phone calls, make relationships. Say, okay, look at your numbers. If you don't have a platform that keeps up with your numbers on everything that you've done, make sure you get that platform. Make sure you start recording your data. Make sure you start logging your customers. Make sure you start putting everything in your system. So this time of year, you could be studying and say, okay, how can I get better?
100%. And like we say all the time, it's super important when you're getting leads or you're getting customers to track everything, because after a season like what we just finished up with, I think we had like 820 jobs, something like that. So that's a lot of customers, and we also had a lot of leads that didn't translate into customers. So you probably have 1,000 or so contacts that you got from the previous year. The best thing to do in this lower season is to go through all that information that you've compiled and put a game plan together, whether it's marketing to them, sending them thank you letters, something you can do kind of in the holiday season. What we like to do is send a kind of a recap of the year and something motivational, inspiring, so they get excited to like begin the new year with like a fresh bang. And we can also sell ourselves and the value that we've done for the current year. So the past year we did a lot more commercial than usual. What we want to do is focus on positioning that a little bit heavier. So we're sending out to our customer base like, hey, we did our best in the upstate. We're residential friendly, residential focused, but ultimately we want to get more into bigger projects, more into commercial. So kind of talking to your base. I got a lot of customers that are residential customers that may be property managers, or they may know somebody in property management, or they may own a building. And if you're pressure washing $1 million plus homes, there's a likelihood that you can connect those people into their businesses, and that may lead to commercial opportunities. So, like Clay was saying, this is the time to reflect, process everything that happened from the previous year, and you're able to really say, how can I grow strategically in the direction that I want to grow in?
Yeah, and this is something I do every year, and I learn from it. And I learn from the things that I applied last January. So during the season, I'm like, okay, maybe in this upcoming slow season, I could say, okay, this is what I need to work on. This is what I didn't do good enough on these certain things, and this is what I need to do better on. I need to work on this next slow season so that I can do this. And I think that's why I get better. We did, I think we grew about 23% last year. So that's according to my CRM. So I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty healthy business, and we're learning from that this year. We didn't have such a great end of the year that we wanted, but we still grew 23%. So
That's
I'm
pretty
not
solid.
really, yeah. So I'm not really worried about the 2026. We're going to apply the same things. We're gonna grow from the things that I learned from last year, and we're going to apply things differently this January. That way, we can take off and try to grow another 20%.
Exactly. And like for reference, we only grew about 12%. So Clay did a good job there. It was an interesting year. I think the market is tough for a lot of people, so you have to shift kind of how you're approaching things. If you're steady going into like I'm going to pound the Facebook groups, I'm going to do the same thing I've done from 2020 on, that market's really dry right now. People don't have the money they used to have. They're stressed out about the economy. Like we're a few years into a recession. So these people don't have the money to buy groceries and they're stressing out about that and people are getting their cars repoed. So going after those $300 small house washes on a Facebook group where there's literally 100 other companies desperate, it's probably not the best route for you. So we've shifted off of that a little bit and relied more on like our Google presence, relied more on big branding with our truck wraps. And then like we'll do a lot of Facebook advertising, but we push more of our brand image out there. We're doing a lot of videos targeting our community. That way we'll have a ton of people see our videos. Not a lot of people are going to click on that and say, I want a house wash, but we've done what we could to build our presence in the community as like the go-to for the pressure washing. And we're just kind of being more strategic on what we go after. We don't want to be the cheaper person. We want to be volume, but we want to be volume with value add. So like we're going to be in the middle on the pricing probably, and we're going to be banging the job out quick. It's going to be the like you're like one of the things that's cool. We have a couple team members who well, they've been with us since we've scaled, so for about 3 years, and they've washed the same house like 3 times now, and so they're getting requested because hey, they were the last ones to clean the house. They get the Google review. We've already gotten a Google review from them, so they edit it and they say, hey, we've used them 3 times in a row. We've used them with this guy. The business is like, uh, it's very smooth and like the objective we have this year going forward is like how can we create like smoothness in our business and replication. We wanted to be like, hey, I'm gonna call this guy. He's gonna show up, and it's gonna be business as usual.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a customer being confident when hiring you. They already trust you, building that trust. They don't really care about the price increase later on. Not saying go up $200 on a house wash just because you secured a customer, but they understand the price increases as the economy shifts or whatever it does when materials go up. And in my experience, all the customers that I have, they understand the $25 to $50 price increase or the higher minimums that we have now. You know, if they want us to come out and do something small, they understand it. They don't care. As if when they first hired you, they were probably looking for the cheapest price. So once you build that trust, as long as you keep farming those customers, you keep in touch with those customers, you keep everything personal with those customers, more than likely you're going to keep them around unless you just go up crazy on your price. And like Matt says, you want to be somewhere right there in the middle. You do not want to be the guy that's bragging that you're cutting everybody off on pricing and being the cheapest guy, because all you're doing is devaluing yourself and you're devaluing your business. And once enough customers get around and they talk, they're pretty much going to tell everybody that you're cheap, and you're never going to be able to dig yourself out of that hole, because what they're going to do is they're going to start negotiating price with you. I still have it to this day. Really don't understand why. But I just tell folks, look, if I were to negotiate my price, I'm devaluing my business. So we don't negotiate pricing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. It's like we're transparent in our business. We're not going to lie to you and say, "Oh, well, if you didn't counter my price to you, I was going to go lower." I would say if you're willing to negotiate, that's not how we run business. We want to be fair and fully transparent up front. We provide a great value to the community, obviously, because we have high reviews and word of mouth, and we do volume. It's like we're not doing one job and trying to sell this guy for $1,200. We're doing a fair job for a fair price, and we're over delivering on value because we expect a Google review, we expect word of mouth, and we respect repeat business. So our business model is more so like the customer value over time is worth more than trying to make an extra 500 or $600 by screwing somebody over and then putting a bad taste in their mouth, and then that spreads in their neighborhood, that spreads in their community. A lot of our business comes, like Clay says, like with social media. You get like they post, like you can post in a Facebook group yourself and advertise your business, and that's almost like just racing to the bottom. But if you get your neighbors, or if the neighbors essentially, you pressure wash somebody's house in a neighborhood and they say, hey, this is a great guy for pressure washing, he just pressure washed my house, you're going to get better word of mouth off of that than you're going to get begging for work on a public Facebook post. So doing great work, always like delivering more value than you charge. And I'm not saying like sell yourself short, but like don't try to squeeze everything out of the job you're going to do, because in the long run, you're going to be very limited on the amount of people you can sell that to. So like people say, hey, that was a great deal. They over delivered. That's a great customer, onward. And then like an hour later you're done. Too many people wouldn't be at a job all day long bullshitting around, and this isn't 2008 when people don't know any different. Everybody's doing this. So we're essentially commoditized by now. So you want to be, how efficient can I come in and out and deliver with the relationship, the branding, and they feel good and they get a good result on the house. I feel like operators nowadays, they focus too much on how can they sell their skill, when in reality it's a $20 an hour skill to somebody, and they're like, oh well, I'm going to be there all day and I'm going to charge them $1,200 because I know what I'm worth. Yeah, that may be right, but if you're doing that, you're only worth $10,000 a month, because in the eyes of the market, only a few people are going to want that. In reality, you're not worth that much. It's hard to scale. It's hard to grow that past just doing maybe a few jobs here and there, which is great if you're part-time, but if you're serious about making this a business, and if you're complaining about pricing and how everybody's so cheap, maybe you should reassess how you're priced and how you're set up. Because if people are telling you that you're too expensive, you are overvaluing yourself, and the market is telling you straight up you're not worth what you think you're worth.
Right. That I mean the high pressure sales business model of this business is pretty much non-existent just because it's so saturated with people doing this. And like you said, it's a $20 an hour job. It's really nothing. Like, we're not doctors, right? So I can go out and knock out your average cookie cutter home in realistically about 45 to 50 minutes. And I mean, 60 minutes tops, then that's with setting up and loading up and everything, right? So if you're going out and doing the same job that I'm doing, and you're bullshitting around like Matt said all day long, and you're charging $1,200, then you're probably not going to be hired next year. In my experience, a lot of the guys that are charging the higher prices are getting the newer people that are moving into the area, and they're ignorant to what's going on, and they just really need it done.
Exactly right. And again, like, can you sell somebody at a high price point if they don't know? Of course you can. However, they're going to hold you to higher expectations, meaning like if we bang out a job in 45 minutes and we make 350 on a service minimum, and you charge $600. Sure, you can charge $600, but they're going to pick and point out at every little detail that you missed, even though that's not what you sold them at. They're going to expect things because they're saying, hey, okay, you better be here for the entire day if it's a $600 job. And then you're not going to be able to scale that. And then you're going to run into bad customers. And that's just something that we've noticed over time. The customers that are higher touch, higher picky, we don't want those customers because they're creating too much friction within our business. And that's another thing we've learned as we've scaled our business. You look more at efficiency. You're not saying, oh, how can I make this much money for this one particular job? You're saying, how did my day look? How did my week look? How did my month and year look? How is my business flowing where my employees are enjoying showing up every day to work? How are they able to replicate it day in and day out? How can I consistently get positive Google reviews? How can I avoid callbacks? And if you're trying to be really nuanced and like almost view this as a hobby where like you sit around all day at your 9 to 5, like dreaming of pressure washing world, and then when you get on that one job on Saturday, you've overanalyzed it to the point where like you've just made this a project as opposed to make this a business. And the objective of the Washbros is to simplify everything and show you what a true business is. And if you can't replicate it and have employees do it and create a model that works in your market, you pretty much just have a hobby and you just have a job. So the whole objective here is to like unwind that mindset of like owner, operator, technician, and say, okay, if we can be in and out in an hour or 45 minutes and make $350 and have a great system in place, that's a better that's a better way of running business in a market that's extremely saturated like ours, because we have hundreds of pressure washing businesses in our market, and for the size of our city, like there's not that many homes here. So like it is very cutthroat for us in our market, and you almost have to just adapt to your market. We're not over here. I was talking to Clay yesterday. It's like we're not selling $3,000 tickets and doing 300 of those and then making our money off of that and doing $1 million in that. That's just not the market we have. So we have to adapt to the market we have in order to build the business that we want.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. I was talking to another buddy of mine about helping him get something going the other day, and he a lot of the things that, and even me and you have talked about it, Matt, is just you just got to put in the time. You got to put in your time. If you don't put in the time, you're never going to get anything. It's like going out and shooting free throws for basketball. If you don't get out and shoot the free throws, you're never going to help your percentage of making the free throw. So you just got to get out there, keep shooting your shot. You got to figure out your marketing game, come up with a plan, figure out your goals as far as money goes. What do you need to make? What do how much overhead do you have? Do we need to go a little leaner, whatnot? And then just figure out the time. What's your time worth? That's kind of how you figure out your pricing for what you're going to work. Me and Matt, it's about the same business model. We could literally swap businesses and we would be just fine because we do about the same thing. And that's what's cool about the Wash Bros. If we can get everybody on the same page as us all across the world, then everybody can be successful together.
No doubt. And again, it's like you have to think long term about what you're doing here. And that's the thing I see all the time because like the purposes of this episode is kind of like, hey, winter is here. Like this is usually after the holidays, you're sitting around, phone's not ringing, it's cold, money's drying up. You're like, "Oh man, I hope this is a warm January. I hope February gets here and then the summer kicks and the spring kicks off and I'm back to cash flow again." But like the reality is that's not the case. And we'll probably have another month and a half before it really gets busy. So instead of sitting around like depressed on Facebook, complaining, getting negative, it's important that you be proactive, plan, and then like Clay says, like tune into the Wash Bros. We've got almost like 100 episodes in total. I think we got like 60, 70, 80 episodes, something like that. So go through the whole catalog and kind of fill your mind not just with positivity and Clay and I's experiences over the years, but like the lessons that we've learned. So like we're here for motivation, but we're more so here to teach you the ways that Clay and I have done. And like cumulatively, we're doing about $1 million a year in business. So it's like we essentially are telling you what $1 million business will be doing. And it's I mean, it's important to stay strong and view it as more of a long-term game than the short-term hustle. Like in the beginning, people sell you on like 0 to 10K a month or 0 to 100K a year. And then you get stuck. You're like, cool. Anybody can advertise or post for free on Facebook in the springtime and make $10,000 a month. But if you've been at this game long enough where you're listening to us and you're wanting to grow a business, you want to be legitimate, you got to make a change from how you went from 0 to 10K a month or 0 to $100,000 a year to like, how can I build this as a true business that supports me in the busy season and the slow season? And this being the slow season, you got to have money set aside, planned for, like Clay's mentioning, like you always want to look at where you are 6 months down the road. So the slow season, we're preparing for our spring now. We're preparing for the busy season to maximize that. And then when we were in that busy season, we were putting money aside, preparing for the winter season. So one thing I heard that's great is like if you're stressed in the slow season, it means you weren't successful in the busy season. And the busy season can disguise issues in your business because we have so much money coming in. And the reality of business is like you have months where you kill it and then you have months where you don't kill it. So you got to be prepared for that entire year.
Yeah, the biggest thing, like I always say, be consistent. Be consistent in your processes. Be consistent even in how you wash a house, how you set up to wash a house, how you pull your hoses, how you maintenance your equipment, how you make sure you keep your trucks filled up. Everything that I do every day, especially in the busy season, is a process. There's certain things that I do certain ways so I can be successful in my day. And if you're not consistent in anything you do, I mean, whether it's taking the kids to school, dropping them off, picking them up, I mean, it's anything. Eating breakfast at a certain time, going and getting that drink, taking a shower, whatever it is, implement that into your daily life. And anything that you do that's consistent is going to be successful in the long run.
No doubt. And we see it all the time. Like there's guys who we like pace with for a couple years and then they disappear and they burn out and they're like, "Oh, I was leaning on debt for too long." Or I was leaning on this or like I couldn't do this anymore. Like we're building a business for the long run here. We're not building a business for like 0 to 2 years or 0 to 3 years. Or we're not building a seasonal thing. We're not here to push like, "Hey, be a forever side hustler." That's great. That gets you started. But if like you've gone through a busy season, if you've gone through a winter season, if you've been doing this for like 2 years now, you need to really look at yourself and say like, if I just push and focus a little bit harder and I committed to growing this business, this will be my main gig. You don't want to be like 1 foot in the door with everything. I get it. A lot of people, you guys have great jobs, you have 6-figure incomes, whatever. But like when you jump full time into a business, it's more than just the money you make. It's like an extension of you. It's an identity. You're building a system that supports other people. And I think that's the coolest thing. Like not only do you support yourself and your family, but you support your employees. You're really building yourself better in the community and you can give back. And one thing that's been really cool about being off the truck and scaling is having times where we can focus on like the Wash Bros and we can focus on like adding value back to the community. Like we all follow guys online or we all watch their growth and progress, but sometimes it's like, man, how do they make a jump from here? And the objective with the Wash Bros has been to like kind of give the inside ballpark of like what we do with these podcast shows and what we do with our group. But Clay and I have been trying to like figure out the next step. So we're thinking about putting together like a school community and stuff like that, where we can give more like behind the scenes help, more one on one. Because I know people have asked like, "Hey, can I make a phone call to you?" And like, yeah, sure, we'd love to take on calls, but there's ways that we can like put all of our information together a little better than just like, oh, we'll listen to this podcast or listen to that podcast or watch this YouTube video. So we're trying to consolidate everything more into like a curriculum that we can give to you guys, and you can join our like a membership site or our group, and we can like really be intentional in 2026 with adding value more than just motivation. Because like sure, you can listen to all of our episodes and get a ton of value. It's great when you're washing, it's great when you're in the truck. But if we could give you something that you can follow and there's a process, and we can say, okay, if you're at square one, newbie beginner, $0 to $10,000, like this is exactly what you need to do. And then say, okay, you want to go from just starting to make this a side hustle where you can work on the weekends and make $10,000 a month. This is where you need to be. And then it's just like, okay, how can you make $100,000 a year and do this full time, to like where we're at currently, where it's like, how can I grow this into a business that supports me, myself, and my employees? So we're looking to be more serious in 2026 and really expand and grow the community. Because last year we got into this hard. It's great. We're building this platform out, and we got a lot of awesome listeners, and we're touching a lot of people across the world, which is pretty cool. But our objective this year is to really like refine and tie down and use the same systems that we do in our individual businesses into helping everybody out who are the Wash Bros.
Yeah, man, going to be a pretty exciting year. Did you have a copy of the book by chance? We just released our first book.
Yeah, so this is a good segue to our book. We have the Washbros Blueprint. I don't know if you guys have, like in the past in 2023, I released one of these. It's called No Pressure Pressure Washing. It's kind of just with me. 22-step framework of how to start your business. So that was when I was in the phase of like when we first started the Wash Bros podcast. It's like, okay, how do you go from zero to like $150,000 a year? How do you pretty much set yourself up to run a truck, to be an owner operator? And what we've done, and especially this like over this winter, is really work on like, how can I take what we say in our podcast and then write it in a book, no differently than I did with No Pressure Pressure Washing. So this is on Amazon now, and it is on Kindle as well. So if you want the paperback, it's like $9 online, and it'll ship to your house if you like to read stuff physically. You got 100 pages, 22 chapters, and this is going to boil down the current Wash Bros mindset. So we call that the blueprint. And it's going to be great because it's like more built for, if you're brand new, you want to read it, it'll save you some time, but it's more so for those guys struggling, making the $150,000, $200,000 a year. You're stressed out. You don't know what you're doing. It's like, how can I make that next jump? How can I implement systems in my business? How can I relieve myself as the bottleneck in my business? Because like we say all the time, everybody loves to hustle, but what do you do when you no longer can hustle? I had a medical emergency a couple years ago. Last year, I have I have a 20-month-old kid at home, and my wife's pregnant again. So what am I going to do in April, end of April, when my wife's expecting a baby and my main technician is expecting a baby? My virtual assistant is expecting a baby in the same exact month.
What
So
in
it's
the
like,
world?
what in the world is going to happen in April? So
I
like,
guess all the work's coming to C3 Wash Bros.
I know, I'm like, dude, everybody decided to like, do we have a party and everybody got drunk the same night? What's going on? I'm over here like, guys, it's like within the week, it's like, yeah, we're all the due dates. So I'm like, great. That's why it's important that you get a book like the Wash Bros Blueprint, and you can figure out through like all the stories that we've had, all of our lessons, a lot of stuff. I still got to get one of these over to Clay because I think he read like a PDF of it, but it's pretty much an extension of this No Pressure Pressure Washing book, which is a great book if you want to learn how to make like $100,000 a year, how to start from scratch, what's important, sales, marketing, and basic equipment. But once you're at that level, you don't want to be like, hey, every year I'm in the same trap of owner operator. Like the slow season kills me, the busy season I'm stressed out. Like it's like being on the rat race. So the Washbros Blueprint, Clay and I put it together. It pretty much breaks down stories of me and Clay as we learned our lessons, and it can help you not only like enjoy reading about the industry, enjoy learning more about us, but like apply lessons that we had to learn through trial and error. So instead of having cash flow problems, instead of buying equipment that you didn't need, instead of having employees that like set off the fire alarms and the fire department came, you can buy the book and learn from us.
Yeah, and the coolest thing is if you bought the book, if you've got the physical book, take a picture of it, post it in our group on Facebook. We'd love to see that you've actually got it and you bought it and you have it in your hand and you're actually in the middle of reading it. Take a picture of yourself in the book or just take a picture of the book, tag us in it. We'd love to see that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're going to be doing for our like favorite listeners and people who are plugged in, I've got 50 of these coming into my house and I'll probably give Clay half of them. So what we'll do is just message us or send us a comment and say like, "Hey, I want the Washbros Blueprint," and I will mail it to your house. And all we ask, like you said, is read it, like subscribe to our show, maybe like take a picture and share it with some friends because information is better if you share than it is if you just keep it to yourself. So like this is the stage we're really trying this year 2026 to like, hey, let's be intentional, let's add value, and let's like move the ball forward. We got all this platform that's cool. Like Clay and I have really cool stories. We both like kill it in our industry and our market, and it's like, okay, how can we take it to that next level? How can we build a community out, and like how can we actually do with what we're saying and help you guys do the same?
Yeah, if you would just like I say, just take a picture of our books, tell everybody about our podcast, send them our way, have them listen. We do have some gold nuggets. You've been listening to us for a while. I think that's a good kickoff to season 3, episode 1 for sure. Especially to start off the new year. We've got a lot of gold nuggets there, just
Exactly.
for anybody that's sitting around just trying to figure out what they need to do. Luckily, I have a pretty good week lined up for January. I'm excited. I'm going to take the next 3 weeks and push it hard to have a good January. And then we're going to go on a cruise to Belize for a week. So
As long as you're not going to
that'll be,
Venezuela.
yeah, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so
I
we'll have
saw
a
a
good,
lot of people were getting like, they're like, I'm trying to come in, but the whole like Caribbean is shut down right now.
yeah, that's how I've been reading about that. And so anyway, we're going to go to Belize for a week and then we're going to come back, reset. And about that time, everything will be back spring just about. So looking forward to the next 3 weeks, working hard, killing my numbers from last January already. So excited about that. Thank you everybody for listening. Follow all of our stuff, the Wash Bros group on Facebook. It's a private group. I think it's a private group, a public group.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
remember.
We got over
Yeah,
100
just go.
members now, so
Yeah, we got over 100 members. Go in there if you have any questions. Comment in there. It's a big group. We don't deal with any bull crap. If anybody starts any of that cancer stuff, we go ahead and we kick them out. So nothing like any of the other groups. It's just a big community trying to help each other. A lot of our local guys here, and then from a lot of our listeners as well across the world. So make sure you join that group. Get our book. Download this episode on the Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, all of our platforms here. We appreciate you listening on Facebook, and I'll let Matt close us out.
yeah. And again, like this is, you can see what we do actively. Like the objective of this podcast is to say, hey, like this is almost like a therapy lesson for us. And over the years, like we put this together, how to get started. It's like how to buy your freedom from a job by creating your own business. And then this more so is like how to create freedom from your business that essentially is set up like a job. And over the years, we've just compiled all of our episodes, all of the information into, okay, how can we get more structure? You come home, it's an easy read. You can glance through it. You can say, okay, well, these are my 2026 plans. How can I implement it? What do I actually need to do? And we've put it into a book, whether you read ebooks or they're also on Audible. So if you are an Audible subscriber, I believe it's free with your membership. So something you can listen to. It takes about 2 hours to listen to the book. Put it on, listen to it while you do 2 jobs during the day. There you go. So stuff like that is some tangible things you can do to move forward and really get ready to position yourself to kill it in 2026. Because we do this not just because we enjoy it, because it's almost like therapy and education for ourselves. Like we learn a lot from the reflection of this podcast, and so many things I've implemented and learned came from what Clay said on the show. Like we talk all the time, but like we say something on the show, we're like, oh man, that actually, I'm going to implement that. And sure enough, it works. So if it works for Clay and I, it'll definitely work for you. But as Clay says, give us a shout, give us a follow, pick up the book on Amazon. And we've also like redone our powerwashingcoach.com website. So that'll try to be like the main source outside of Facebook. And then everything will be linked through that. So a lot of exciting things to come 2026. We hope everybody grows, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See you.